Okay, welcome everybody to Final Fantasy II. We're gonna quickly input the names that you guys have so generously donated to. Just double S, okay. I should know how to spell my own name. That should work. That should work. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty much ready to go. You've got your phone ready for the trick for later. Cool. Tech ready? Then starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So welcome everybody to Final Fantasy II, and right off the bat, we're gonna die here. That's a common theme with FF2. A lot of things kill you, and the first battle of the game is no exception. As such, I have given myself, a certain incentive, and I do want to encourage everybody at home to either play along, because that'd be cool if some people would join me on this. But at the very least, count along. I'm going to be donating 50 cents for every reset in this run, and there tend to be quite a few. I've got, I think, my boy Indy next to me, who's going to keep score for me. Make sure, at least make sure that everything goes all well and fair. Like I said, feel free to join in. The story of the game is pretty basic at the start. We're from a family of 4, and we fled our hometown as they've gotten invaded by the Emperor. The Emperor being quite an evil man, or so is our understanding. And well, we wake up in this place. We've been saved by the White Mage Minwu, and well, we find our brother and sister, M3 and Ras. The other one, the last one, Crrool, he's missing right now. We don't really know what happened to him, but at least, we're somewhat together again. And we're gonna just talk to the princess real quick, see what's actually going on, and see if we can join them, because we've actually been saved by the rebels, the Wild Rose. So yeah, lots of dialogue. We can't actually speed up the dialogue right now. We're gonna learn the Wild Rose. That's pretty much all we're gonna do. We're gonna set those settings real quick, and off we go. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set up our equipment for the first half an hour or so for the run, which includes unequipping pretty much all of my equipment. Selling said equipment, because why not? And buying 2 bucklers, because shields are important in this game. You'll notice as a common theme that for the majority of the game, we're basically just going to be down to shields. Shields and magic is what we're going to be using for the majority of the run, at least. We are going to be using some physical attacks as well, especially early on, but you'll see more on how we do that very soon as we get into our first battle. So RNG in this game is not entirely random. Like the encounter, or rather when we get the encounter, is actually set. So I can completely step manipulate the entire run. However, the problem is that those step manips keep on counting, like the steps keep on counting as I'm in towns and the likes as well. So keeping on step manip is pretty difficult. There is some leniency, but it's not really all that helpful in that sense, and it's pretty easy to lose the step count. Now, the one advantage of the step count is you don't actually need it in any way, because even though we can manipulate when we get the encounter, I cannot manipulate what that encounter is. That is still completely random. So by just saving very often, I pretty much just keep on I just keep on going no matter what. So I will lose step count eventually, probably sooner rather than later. I don't tend to keep step count very long, and in order to actually make it very useful, you'd have to keep the step count for, at least the first hour of the run. So yeah, for the majority of it, we're not really gonna bother with step count, and we're just gonna beat our way through the normal way. Or, well, as far as you can count it the normal way for FF2, because we've got some pretty interesting ways of beating this game. But yeah, first things first, we talked to the princess and she told us that, you know, we shouldn't be putting our life at risk to help the rebels, and therefore she isn't going to allow us to join the rebel army. That being said, well, we kind of want to help out, so what we're going to do is we actually are making our way to the Castle Finn, which is where supposedly the prince is at, and or at least some rumors have it that he's still around. So we're going to see if we can find him. This used to be where Princess Hilda, the princess we just talked to, actually ruled, but this entire city has been taken over by the Emperor. As such, encounters still continue as we are in town. This is the only time in town that we'll actually be seeing encounters. It's not a very common theme in FF2, but you know, since this entire place is taken over, that's kind of a thing. We're gonna go into this this bar over here, and we're gonna talk to this guy, and we're gonna tell him that we're from the rebels. We tell him the password of the rebel army, the Wild Rose, and he allows us passage into the secret hallway, where we're first gonna pick up some potions, and we're gonna talk to the prince. So this is Prince Scott, the Crown Prince of Kajuan. Kajuan being pretty much completely destroyed by the Empire as well. He tells us a little bit about, you know, his brother, which we'll meet very soon. Gordon, he'll actually join our party later on. But he's on his dying bed, and with his final strength, he gives us a ring. That'll be a proof of courage for us for later on. He also, you know, he kind of tells us that there was a guy on the inside, and we get to know a little bit more about how the castle fell as quickly as it did. So yeah, that soldier getting in the way. I'm now already 2 steps off of the step count. But yeah, all in all, there's not really too much more to it than that. We're just gonna keep punching enemies in the face until we get back to town. The reason we're punching enemies like that is I actually want to level my fist and my shield, specifically still for Indy and for Ras. M3 has already leveled it to the next level. The only way you do that, and this is kind of the thing with FF2, you level them by using that ability. So in all of the other actually I'm gonna do this slightly different. In all of the other Final Fantasies, you level by killing enemies, and that gets you experience, and that grows you stronger. In FF2, you level the abilities by using them, and the only way you can use them, like for example, my physical attack level, my fist level in particular. Hold on. Okay, so Guy still needs to level. So my fist level, for example, will only level when I use my fists. Same with, for example, swords. I'd level my sword level if I would be using swords. My MP will only grow when I use spells, otherwise my MP won't ever grow. And that's kind of a theme they use throughout. That's kind of bad, I kind of needed to kill that. That's kind of a theme they use throughout this game, and it's kind of what puts a lot of people off on FF2, because its leveling system is very weird. And like for its time, that was it was let's just say it's a very tough system. Nowadays, you'll see that a lot more on certain games. Like there's a lot of games that use similar systems. But for its time, it was kind of a unique thing, and a lot of people had to really adjust to it. It's probably why most people still very much struggle with FF2, because actually leveling is really awkward. Okay, actually I'm gonna defend and just attack with Ras. I need Ras to level, and the only way for him to do that is by actually attacking 2 times in the same fight. There are ways that you can manipulate yourself to level fairly quickly, and we're going to use that quite a bit to level up our party members to get level 6 on shield and on fist, which is what we need later on. Anyway, we're going to talk to the princess real quick. We tell her of what happens, and we show her the ring. We also tell her that he passed away. She asks if he said something near the end, and he told us that he loved Hilda, but then told us not to tell him that. So we hear of Mithril, which is supposedly an item which can get us a lot stronger weapons and the likes, and that would kind of help our cause. So we're off on a journey to find said Mithril. And Minwu the White Mage, she's going to join us in this quest. So off we go. Now the advantage of getting Minwu this early is, first and foremost, I've actually got a party member that has a lot of healing spells. I need to remove the staff there. It'll also help that he has a lot more health than the likes. If you call it, he's a lot higher leveled, and the game kind of gives you him so that you can boost your levels a little bit early on. So we're gonna buy a ship ride here, and we're gonna go to the other side. There's not really a lot to this part. In a little bit, we're actually gonna go into the one grinding segment of the game because we do actually have to grind a bit. Gonna just immediately buy my return trip, talk to this guy, and we're gonna buy a trip to the Summit Falls, which is where the Mithril is at. So these are the Summit Falls. The general idea here is pretty simple. I want to level Guy to level 3, make him a little bit stronger. And I want to level Minwu to level 2 in order to actually be able to deal, a reliable amount of damage with him. That should do. Okay, that should get Guy to level 2. There we go. Now I just need one more battle with Minwu. Okay, that should do the trick. So actually got to open up a couple of notes here on the leveling, because the amount of attacks I need to deal is very, very specific. So I want to make sure that I don't miss out on an attack, and because of that would have to do an extra fight. Okay, so Minwu is now level 2. I'm gonna put all of those in the back row. We're gonna quickly save just to be sure. We're gonna grab some money along the way. Especially early on, money management is rather tight. Later on is nothing we have to worry about, but early on it's kind of a thing. So you'll notice I'll be picking up money wherever and whenever I can, and it's not too far out of the way. So this is the first of the grind battles. Basically, the way these fights work is we put all of our party members in the back row, guaranteeing them to miss. From the back row, you can only attack with magic or with a bow. The advantage is enemies also can't attack me unless they use magic or a bow. Goblin guards do have a bow, but other than that, it's not particularly useful. Okay, unfortunately, Guy didn't get the fourth attack there. That's not necessarily a big deal. At least we got 3, so the fight still works out just fine. Okay, so this is the kind of battle that I'd ideally want to have. Like, there's only one enemy, so I can just tank here, take a few turns, and as I've had enough turns, I'll kill him off using Minwu. So I need to wait 4 turns here. On the 4th one, I only have to attack with Ras. So on the next one, I'll only have to attack with Ras, and then the turn after that, I can kill off the sprinter, and we'll get level 4. Okay, that should do it for this fight. Of course, Minwu misses. That's rather unfortunate. Minwu, can you please? Not even enough to kill. Okay, this is fun. There we go. So yeah, we all got level 4 right there. At least I think. Yeah, okay, perfect. So off we go. We're gonna pick up that high potion over there. That's just for some safety for later on. This is not the best fights that we can get, but the advantage of this is since it's exactly 5 enemies, and I need to hit 4 turns anyway, I can just attack every single turn with everyone and we'll be fine. Like, I don't have to stall anywhere on this battle. We can just keep on killing them. Which makes these fights pretty relaxing. It's just a hold X to win, basically. All of this is to set up for something later on. After this point, we kind of don't have to grind anymore anywhere. So it gets a lot easier past this point. Yeah, this is just a way for us to abuse the leveling mechanics of FF2. Because after this point, you'll see on the first boss that we're going to fight in a bit, we will be completely overpowered by the time we hit the first boss. We're going to actually use that same level. We're not going to level anymore up until like the 5th boss of the game, and we'll still beat that guy pretty easily. Ooh, this is a bit of a nasty encounter. This one may take some time to kill. The downside of this is every single one of these has a bow. And if they all start using that, they can potentially kill off other party members, which would really slow me down a lot. As long as they attack Minwoo, it's fine. The upside of this fight is, as far as that is considerable as an upside, again, I don't have to worry about anything. As long as I just kill 1 a turn, I'll end up exactly with the amount of turns I needed, because I needed to do 7 turns anyway. So we don't really lose any time on having to kill more enemies. We do kind of lose time on account of how many there are. Okay, so that hurts. This is where we start losing time. Because now I have to revive Maria, otherwise she doesn't get enough turns, and that would greatly slow me down. So I can just defend, and I should have life somewhere. There we go. Okay, I'm actually gonna attack with these guys real quick and then cure on the party, just so that I'll be able to survive the next bow in case they do another one. And then hopefully we'll be good to go again. Okay, so from this, we should be good. This is kind of how these fights can lose you a lot of time. Like, the bigger part with this grinding segment is the grinding itself doesn't really take a lot of time. Well, relatively speaking. But if these enemies decide to troll you, especially when there's a lot of big packs and they actually have bows, then they can just cost you a lot of time by killing off members like that. But anyway, here we get the level up, so we're now pretty close to the level we need. We're on level 5, and I need level 6. So I'm going to go and do 2 more fights, and then we should be hitting level 6. So here we actually got to start counting. I need to do this for 5 turns. And on the 6th turn, I need to kill off the other Sasquatch. So this is 2. 3. 4. 4. Okay, last turn we have to defend with Minwu. Next turn I can start attacking. We'll kill off the Sasquatch and we'll be halfway done, well, somewhat halfway done leveling. Let's just defend because they don't need anything. And kill it off. Okay, I need to do one more battle and then we can finish up the grinding already. So we're getting pretty close to the end of that. First, though, we're gonna meet up Paul here. He's a thief, and he actually came in here to save the daughter of some. I think it's the guy in charge of Salamand. I might be wrong on the town names here, though. I pick up the fire tome over there. That's gonna save me some money later on. And well, I guess we found our last battle. So this is pretty much the longest battle in the game. Believe it or not, we're going to get the longest battle of the game this early on. We have to actually stall this battle so that I can attack for 13 times. So, yeah, if you have anything to Sniper, if you have anything to tell us about our charity, now would be a good time.
Absolutely. We are running in support of the Dutch Cancer Society, an amazing charity which aims to prevent and fight cancer and alleviate the suffering of those already battling the disease. 90% of your donations will directly go towards the Dutch Cancer Society, so be sure to get your donations in. Also, we have a few bit wars for the next game, which are for the Patrick outfit and the SpongeBob outfit. For the Patrick outfit, the Goofy Goomer weenie suit is €2 up over the Patrick Gar. And for the SpongeBob outfit, we have the Sponge Gar at $4.50 and the Ripped Pants at $0. So if you want to get one of those in, be sure to donate.
On the note of bid wars that are going on, how are we doing on killing or saving the animals? I was kind of curious about that,
They
actually.
are exactly equal at €154 each.
A tie, eh? That's, okay, that's interesting.
Does that mean we walk in and just say hi and then walk out again?
I'm not sure what we do. We'll make sure. We'll see, though. We'll see. There's still, taunting the animals. It seems like a good middle ground there, but okay, so this is the last turn. Here we can actually kill off the sprinter, and that should get us level 6. Okay, so that was the last level up we needed. I'm gonna now put everybody in the front row, because from here on out, we're just gonna make sure we either run away or we kill stuff. This ambush is rather mean. I don't like ambushes. Also, please don't kill anyone. I'd appreciate that. I'm gonna just use a potion on Minwu, make sure he doesn't actually die. So the thing right now is, I'm not very consistent at running away from enemies yet. That'll change very soon, but right now, I'm still just gonna have to rely on killing them rather than running away. So unless it's a big pack, I'll just kill them instead. Okay, so coming up here is the first boss of the game. We're gonna quickly remove our shields, because those will just get in the way. Gonna save the game real quick, because, you know, marathon safety and all that. We really can't die on this boss, but, you know, then again, it's FF2, so you never know. So this is the Sergeant. He hits pretty hard, but so do we. That was the Sergeant. That's the entire boss fight. So yeah, we are currently so over-leveled that we quite literally just two-shot him. Indy right here is complaining that the fight took him 20 minutes instead. Yeah, that's the sergeant. That's the entire boss. This is how much we've abused the leveling system in this game. We're gonna quickly heal up Minwoo, and we're gonna make our way back. Same story as just now. We're gonna just basically run whenever we can, and or whenever we need to. And as long as it's a small enemy, I'll rather just kill it. For reference, by the way, at this point I'm completely off the step manip. Like, there's no way of salvaging that for me anymore. I kind of took a few extra steps in the dungeon, and then I didn't take a few extra steps here. And at this point, I just have no clue where on the manip I'd be. That's completely fine, because I wasn't really planning on using it anyway. One interesting thing, as we make our way back, that I quickly wanted to mention, though, interestingly enough, the step manip that we have actually is the same across all versions of Final Fantasy II. The way that you manipulate the steps, as well as the way that, and which like spots you'd get an encounter, is identical across all versions. So it's kind of interesting that, you know, even though everything around the game pretty much got a full makeover, that part has never actually changed. Okay, so we're being somewhat successful in running away, which is rather nice. So, yeah, we're just gonna make our way back. We have Mithril, so we're pretty much good to go here. I'm gonna go quickly into this town in order to buy another ship ride, because we'll need that very soon. And we're gonna make our way to, well, home. Back to where we started the game. So this is always a part where I will have to focus a little bit. I have to go in here and learn 2 very specific passwords. If you forget either of them, it becomes quite a problem. So I need to learn Dreadnought and Airship. The Airship isn't even the important one. It's mostly the Dreadnought. If you forget the Dreadnought and you move on not thinking about it, you actually pretty much you can just go right back here and you still have to learn it. So we give the Mithril to this old guy. Now, the one downside right now is I'm rather low on money, so I can't buy too many Mithril shields. Ideally, I'd buy 2, but I'm probably only going to buy 1. The shields actually have a very important mechanic. It's because of the shields that I can actually run away from enemies. If like the combination of my shield level combined with how good my shields are is what allows me to run away. So now that I have a Mithril shield, running away from enemies will be a lot easier for me. It'll still be pretty tough because I only have 1 shield going for me at the moment, but it's enough to actually make do. So I'm gonna buy another ship ride back for later. I'm gonna quickly set off to the city of Bafsk. So this entire city, it's also under Empire control, but the current general here, he's kind of been slacking. So we tell this guy about the Dreadnought, and it turns out he's actually with the rebels, and he allows us passage to get to the Dreadnought. So this place is a pretty cool place because walls don't exist. There's actually just secret hallways there that you can walk through, but yeah, walls don't exist in this game. At least in a few places. We'll be using that here, but we'll actually be using that later on again in one of the other dungeons to just save some time. All of those hidden hallways that I just took are actually all on there on purpose. Like, they are not some glitch that I'm using. They're actually secret hallways that you can use. And especially near the end, like the final few dungeons have secret hallways that lead to like hidden treasures and whatnot. Where you're not intended to find all of them, at least not on your first playthrough. But if you really look around, you will find secret hallways, because there is that many of them. So that's a Dreadnought. We kind of just skip the cutscene because we can. Interestingly enough, you can't actually skip that on the GBA version. But for PSP, we can just skip the cutscene. We're going to get this pass, which is kind of useful for later on. And with that, we're gonna just make our way out of here. So unfortunately, we got ambushed here, so that slows things down a little bit. Ambushes in this game are very common, as you'll see later on. Okay, so now that we're out of this place, we're gonna make our way back one more time. And let's see what we're gonna do. Because that Dreadnought is a pretty bad thing. It's basically a massive warship that they got flying around the world. And they've actually already bombed a few cities as well, including the 2 port cities that we just went to, as well as the city that we've kind of been traveling to all this time. So now that I'm here, I am going to quickly buy a passage towards Salamand, which we'll use later on. I get into the ship and we're gonna return home real quick. A lot of the early game is just a lot of traveling around. And since we don't have an airship or anything, like we'll most of it we'll have to do by the ferry that runs across, or just by foot. So here I'm actually going to use the magic of Minwu, heal my entire party to full. Gonna quickly remove that, because we don't need that anymore. See, as you can see, it's pretty empty right now. It's pretty bad since everything got bombed here. The princess actually tells us that her father's condition has worsened quite a bit. And it's Minwu, as a result, he's going to leave our party to ease the suffering of the king a little bit. In the meantime, we can try to find a way to get rid of the Dreadnought here. So yeah, Minwu leaving the party, and let's go talk to this king. Wait, am I forgetting something? I did forget something. That's kind of silly of me. So this is also a common theme in FF2. If you forget one word, one keyword somewhere, you have to backtrack for it. Luckily, this is probably the least bad one to forget. But I forgot to learn about the Sunfire. And as long as I don't know about Sunfire, the king won't tell me about the Goddess Bell, which is how we can destroy the Dreadnought. Downside is it'll lose me a little bit of money because I have to travel back and forth another time. The upside is, because at this point we can just still use the ferry between these places, it's pretty quick to go back to this town and learn this password. So I had to, at the same time, also talk to him, learn about Sunfire. That's all I forgot to do. It's kind of silly, but that's kind of just how this game works. You please give me a ride back. Thanks. So now again, I'll have to buy one more ride back because I don't want to have to do that later. So yeah, luckily on the lakes you can't actually get encounters. It's the one place in the run where you can't get encounters, and we actually use that in the step minute to avoid enemies whenever possible, and just reduce the total amount of encounters we get a little bit. So now that we've learned about Sunfire, now I can talk to the king. So yeah, if I had even been on Step Manip still, I would have completely screwed that up now. Because that's just so many extra steps that I just took that it's completely unrecoverable. I'm also going to make a quick stop here in the magic shop. Let's see, we're going to sell that. We're going to sell the longbow. We're going to sell the staff. Let's see how many I can buy. Okay, 8. That's not a lot. So yeah, you want to buy as many as possible. Unfortunately, we were only able to afford 8 of these, and that is not a lot. So that might become a problem in the next dungeon. We'll see. We have 9 fire tomes in total still, so it's not like it's completely impossible. But ideally, I'd have more like 12 or something. It also means I won't be able to buy a blizzard spell, which makes the next boss fight a little bit harder. But either way, on to Salamand, and we're gonna talk to Joseph here. Joseph is kind of in charge of this thing. We tell him about the Sunfire, and he will know a way to get said Sunfire. Basically, what the king told us is that, what Sid told us is that if you throw Sunfire, airships run on Sunfire, and if you throw Sunfire into the engine will basically just blow up. So that's how you can destroy one of those. The problem is, you can only get Sunfire with the Eagle's Torch. You can only get the Eagle's Torch if you have the Goddess Bell. There is actually, both the fire and the torch are both in Kajuan Keep. So, you know, we could go there no problem. We actually already have access to that place. But we can't actually enter the place until we found the Goddess Bell. That's what we needed the king's help for. Luckily, Joseph happens to know where the Goddess Bell exactly is, and he can help us get exactly that. So we're back to this place. This time we're just gonna look for a hidden hallway back here. Because this is where the snowcraft is. And this is also where we're gonna use the first main trick of this game. It's pretty cool. So yeah, if you've never seen an FF2 run, you're in for a treat. Because we're going to do a really cool little trick in order to basically get us more than enough money to last me the entire remainder of the game. Just a little bit more walking around we need to do here. Not much to add to that. So I remember seeing the trick that we're going to do here the first time, and I was kind of amazed by how much fun it looked. It also was one of those things where you're like, you know, it seems like the kind of thing that you'd actually need to manipulate. And this is where I'm going to need my friend Indy's help real quick, because we're going to do some memory here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've got a pretty bad memory, so yeah, don't mind if I make like 1,000 mistakes here. Okay, whatever. Minwoo Gordon. Okay, that's neither of those. Like I said, really, really terrible memory. That's completely fine though. We'll work it out. We'll finish it. Okay. Got it? Okay, on to the next one. Oh, that was Minwoo. There he's at. do another one. Okay. You got them? Let's pull up the first one. So yeah, I kind of got sick of my poor memory there. There we go. So we'll have to wait a little bit because I want to get first prize. You can switch into the second one. 17 seconds, that should do. Wait, where is he? Okay, feel free to go to the next one. Okay, back to the first. There we go. Okay, here we go again. So yeah, by now you've probably guessed how, next one, how this works. There is only 32 puzzles, so we just loop around. We solve them once, we loop around, and we just start solving the same puzzle all over again. Okay, last one. So we need to do so one more time. So yeah, that's it. Now we have approximately 240,000 gil, a bunch of elixirs, a bunch of cottages, and well, pretty much just enough resources to get me through the rest of the game. That's all it took me. We'll be using that in a little bit to buy better equipment, to buy a lot of spells, mostly a lot, just a lot of spells. And healing items that will push me through the entire remainder of the game. It's basically just gonna make this the entire rest of the game a breeze from here on out. Because it's kind of slow, unfortunately, to backtrack right now, we are gonna have to just continue with what I have. But you know, at least we have plenty of resources to go with now. So this place is a pain. This is the first instance of unrunnable encounters in this game, and unrunnables are they're just the worst. This is the first instance. These are grenades. Anything that has grenades in them is unrunnable. The weird thing with this game is something that's unrunnable here can be runnable later on, and vice versa, and it can even go so far as to change between floors, whereas it might be runnable on some floors but not on others. So take, for example, these deadheads. They're currently runnable. At least in this form. We're hoping to mostly just see a lot of stuff we can run away from. This is not runnable. Luckily, pretty much everything dies to a single Fire Tome here. Fire Tome allows me to cast like Fire 7 or Fire 8, like a really powerful level fire. So it's just a really easy and quick way to get through enemies. So yeah, this is not runnable. So yeah, Fire 8 it is. So even though it was runnable on the last fight with the Deadheads, this time it's not runnable because now it's paired with something. That's a good one. Icicle Snowman is always runnable pretty much. With a ghoul there is still unrunnable. It's really weird because certain combos are runnable, certain other combos that are very similar aren't. So I basically just have a giant document with all of the unrunnable stuff ranked per dungeon, because it can differ per dungeon per floor. So ghouls alone, that's fine, because ghouls on their own are just are no problem whatsoever. Okay, it's good that we're finding at least a few things that are runnable, because I don't have the resources to just keep killing everything. So yeah, this is Deadhead Ghoul, and this one is runnable. So yeah, like, if you still understand it, then, you know, you'd be the first. Now, if you've ever seen me run all bosses, or all dungeons, which I've done at BSG before as well, you may remember the beavers. This is the beaver room. They're adorable, but we are just going to skip them. Guy, or in this case Ras, can actually talk to beavers. He speaks beaver. Yeah, believe it or not, Rashfly, you can speak beaver now. You can talk to beavers. It's fine. The secret is out. I was about to say, ghouls on their own are fine. Those are runnable. Okay, so now comes the first actually difficult boss of this game. In an old route, we actually used to level one more time in order to make this next fight a lot easier. Actually, I'm going to heal Joseph one more time. This is what we have the high potion for. We're going to unequip the bucklers, because those are just going to get in my way. So yeah, let's see how this fight is going to go. Like I said, I'm going to donate 50 cents for every reset. That does include this fight as well. It's fine if something dies. You're supposed to use magic on this thing, and I don't really have a lot of magic going for me. I lived. We're not dead yet. Okay, we got him. We're still in a very dangerous position. Now, this is not done, because there's another boss in this dungeon that I now have to fight with just these two party members. Luckily, it's also the easiest boss of this dungeon, but... So yeah, here we find the goddess Bell, which is nice and all. I'm going to quickly do that on the second save, in case I'm unable to get past this boss, so that I can actually reset the fight if needed. Deadhead alone, that was fine. Bit unfortunate that it's an ambush, but it's still fine. Oh, I may have done something stupid here. I don't have my shields on at the moment. Okay, so that's 50 cents. So, yeah, you were going to start counting, right? We'll start counting, because, So you'll notice here that I'm actually getting the encounter on the exact same tile, and that is because I'm still on a form of step manip at least. We have four fire tomes left. I might return for a few more, because 4 is very little. So yeah, this is the next boss of the game. This one is luckily a little bit less difficult. The last one, like I said, you're supposed to defeat it with magic, and I did not use magic. I used physical attacks. He's nicely healing himself, even though he's at full health. And he's dead. So yeah, that was the entire boss fight. We're still not entirely done, because I only have one party member alive for the next part, and that's kind of rough. But at least we killed him, so we're pretty much good to go. Unfortunately for us, he actually had a trap set, so he triggers that as he dies, and this giant boulder starts rolling toward us. Joseph decides to, you know, stop this boulder, strong as he is, and he tells us to run. But he doesn't last for very long. And, well, let's just say he ends up dying to that boulder. So rip Joseph. Now, fortunately, we do have, or we do get the chance to heal our party members. Oh, wait, we actually get a chance to heal them. Right. Luckily, they actually revive there, so... In the old route, you usually had everybody alive, so you kind of got into this area being like, okay, now I'm screwed. Or, so if you'd have everybody dead, you'd get into this area with, like, you know... Now you're kind of screwed, but luckily that's not really the case here. The reason the game must do that is... okay, hold on. I'm just gonna kill these snowmen. Which is, the reason the game does that is in case Joseph was your only party member alive, you'd kind of die instantly as soon as you'd enter the next battle. So in order to prevent that, they revive everybody to 1 health. I kind of forgot about that mechanic. They do that a few times. It's pretty useful. So out of this cave we go, and it's finally time to actually start making some progress. I'm probably going to make a quick detour to buy some more fire tomes, as well as buy some better shields. That'll speed up the next part a little bit. But first, we're going to make our way back to Salamand. Interestingly enough, Joseph from this point on doesn't get mentioned anywhere in the game. There's like one NPC that still mentions him. Everybody else seems to just have forgotten about him, even in the town that, you know, he was in charge of. Okay, so this is Salamand, and this is where we do our shopping. And, you know, we love shopping, so let's go. We're first going to stop at the magic shop. Buy some teleport tomes. How about 99 of them? That was just 100,000 gil worth of teleport tomes, by the way. They'll be pretty useful later on. Some high potions, about 99 of them. Some antidotes, some eye drops. Pretty good stuff, all in all. I'll buy some of this stuff. Oh, I didn't mean to buy more mallets, but this works. We have enough money. Some Phoenix Downs. So yeah, now we have 99 Phoenix Downs, we have 99 High Potions, we have 99 Teleport Tomes, and we have enough of every other heal item to basically heal every single status effect in the game. So we're pretty much in a position of, oh, we can't really die anymore. Well, not true, but, you know, we can basically recover from every single thing enemies can throw at me. Quickly buy another ship ride, because I'm going to take a quick detour. This detour loses about a minute and a half on average. But the advantage is I'll get a lot more teleport, or a lot more fire tomes, which actually can help me quite a bit in the next 2 dungeons. And on top of that, I actually will be able to buy better shields, which in general are just going to help my running chances. So that minute and a half are kind of going to get made up as we go along still. So we lose some time in an attempt to make it safer, but also save some time later on. I mean, now I can just buy 5 of those and we don't have to worry about it. So I can just equip double mithril on everyone. I'm also going to quickly drop in here, buy 95 more of those so that we have 99 fire tomes. Whoops, let's actually get out of here. And, well, let's go to the Kajuan Keep now, because now we actually can. Unfortunately, we get another ambush here. Ambushes, again, they're very common. It's really unfortunate, but that's just what it is. See, this is kind of funny. That moment when you've got, like, really good shields and you're still unable to run away. Okay, so we're gonna make one more stop here. This is pretty much the last time we'll actually have to do anything in Poft. I'm gonna buy myself a quick trip by airship to Kajuan Keep. It's the last time we need to. And we're just gonna quickly fly over there. Not much more to it. So this is Kajuan Keep. The entire place is pretty much deserted. There's not really a lot to it. That's the Sunfire right there, and we can only open this door using the Goddess Bell. Now, as we get to the other side, we meet up with Prince Gordon, who kind of had the exact same idea of getting the Sunfire and destroying the Dreadnought. You know, actually being courageous for once. However, because he didn't tell anybody, nobody knew that he was already on his way there, and he actually has a Goddess Bell. So if he had, Joseph would have never had to die. So yeah, because he was a bit of a jerk, Joseph died, and you know, things didn't really go the way we would have liked them to. But you know, that's all in the past now. Not much we can do anymore. So let's move on. Kajuan Keep, another one of those places where encounters are rather weird, so we have to actually keep an eye on what we can and cannot run from. It's also the first place where we may have to use teleport tomes if needed. Oh, this Shadow Ghoul was something I was supposed to kill. So yeah, most of the undeads that you actually need to kill, you just kill with fire. That's also why fire is so useful, because there's a lot of undead enemies in this game. Shadows are actually fine. Thought we needed to kill that as well. But yeah, shadows alone are runnable, just as long as they're... only if they're with a ghoul, they're not. It doesn't really matter if Gordon dies here. It would actually help me a little bit if he does. Because as soon as Gordon dies, that round ends, because everybody else gets pushed into the front row. And the advantage is, I can actually put them in the back into the back row, even while Gordon is dead. So this way, if I were to get an ambush now, everybody would just move into the front row, and we'd be fine again. And as long as I don't get ambushed, I don't have to do anything. Lots of shadows so far. It's kind of good, actually. So this is the Adamantoise. This one we do have to kill, and this is what teleport tomes are for. Yeah, we're not actually killing the Adamantoise here. We're not too savage. We don't kill the animals. We just teleport them to a place where we don't get bothered by them. I don't know where that place is, but we'll just take it. So floor 5, this is pretty much... We're already getting to the end of this dungeon. This is pretty much the last floor. I should actually put them in the back row again. Because the next floor is where the boss is at. So yeah, ogre mages can still be a little bit of a pain. This is also why we had the high potion, so that we can actually just heal that off. So were-rats is another unrunnable, and this was the one unrunnable where it doesn't really matter if I use fire or teleport. Teleport can be faster, but it can also be slower, because 2 fire tomes will kill them, and I'd need... like, teleport is like... It has a certain chance to hit each of them. Okay, so here we're going to go put everybody back into the front row, remove all of these shields again. Basically the same as before. This is the last boss that will actually use physical hits on. This is Red Soul, and he's a jerk. Ooh, Maria surviving on 1 health. That's kind of clutch, but also kind of good. Because at least that means I get an extra hit. That was a clean fight right there. That tends to be one of the worst bosses of the... Nah, not one of the worst, but it tends to be a pretty bad boss. Oh, I didn't mean to heal Gordon, but that's fine. Back onto the mithril shields. There we go. I'm gonna save here because, you know, you don't want to die after killing that guy. And I have actually died between there and getting the Eagle's Torch. That is not even a joke. We teach teleport to Firion, or Indy in this case, and we'll let Indy teleport out. Now, because it's level 1 teleport, it does put me to low health, but we just use a high potion. And we're gonna go into the keep. Use the torch, get the sunfire, you know. Now we have a way of destroying that that airship, the dreadnought. And again, we're gonna teleport out. Okay, time for a short little cutscene. Because, well, as Princess Hilda was being flown around by Cid, they actually got attacked by the Dreadnought and got captured. So, time to actually put a stop to them once and for all. We're gonna go into the Chocobo Forest, and this is the only instance in this game that we'll be seeing a Chocobo. So, yeah, let's get some hype for some Chocobo here. You have to leave me! Indy, what are you doing to me? Ah, you'll keep track of my... that's what it's about, isn't it? It's always about the money. Always about the money. This guy leaving, but keeping track of my money for me. What a guy. Okay, into the Dreadnought. I'm gonna show this guy the pass that we picked up earlier, and he'll basically just let me in. He's like, oh, you're this high-ranked general? I don't know you, but sure, I'll let you in, no problem. So, off we go. Mine and Balloon, we teleport away. Unfortunately, we got all but one, so we'll have to use teleports until that one dies as well. And I'd like this thing to die right about now. Like, seriously, can you die? Okay, there we go. That one lost me quite a few resources. You gotta imagine, that's 4,000 worth of teleport tomes, and I got like 200 gil in return. It's not really a fair trade. Ghast Wraith, that's not something we can run from. These are just the places where you kind of have to pay attention as to what you actually run into. Okay, Were-Panthers, that's better. We can actually run from that. Hey, Indy might have left, but at least he kept me, he left me his mascot. I think I'm just going to use fire tomes on these. These things do die to fire tomes, but they'll just take like 3 or something. So they'll take a few fire tomes, but at the rate we had earlier, it was just faster to teleport. The reason you don't normally teleport them away, or you normally teleport them away rather than use fire, is just because you don't have a lot of fire tomes to go with normally. So over here, we meet up with Hilda and Sid. We don't actually have to talk to Hilda. We're just going to talk to Sid, get them out of here. So they can casually walk out of the Dreadnought. So now that they're out, we're going to quickly save, and let's go walk out ourselves as well. Dreadnought is just kind of one of those places that it has a lot of unrunnable stuff, so it's kind of a pain to get through this place. There's also not really too much we can do in order to speed things up. So this was an ambush. This is the one way we do actually speed things up. That thing was an ambush, but because the only party member in our front row was already dead, I just got to run instantly. Ghast is still kill. So now they're all going to go for blind, because they can't actually physical attack me. If they tried to physical attack, we'd be fine. Unfortunately, they decided to troll instead and go with blind. So now my entire party is blinded. That doesn't matter at all for me. Doesn't change anything. But it's rather annoying. Can you guys stop ambushing me, please? That'd be nice. It's kind of the one thing where this is annoying. They just keep ambushing. Put them back into the back row, because I really need to not have them in the front row, because they will die otherwise. And again, with another ambush, you know, just for the fun of it. So yeah, this is kind of the part of that thing with FF2. Ambushes in FF2 are very common, and so much so that this is the only Final Fantasy where even bosses can ambush you randomly. That'll come into play later, but yeah, bosses can randomly decide to ambush you. It's kind of a pain when they do that. Wait, are they in the back row? They are, okay. Come on, can you throw me something that's actually runnable? There are actually runnable things in here. Just to get that straight. But apparently the game is deciding to say no, and just decides that instead it's just gonna keep throwing unrunnable stuff at me to, you know, slow me down a bit. Ah, this is actually a cool encounter. Remember how ghasts are unrunnable in this place? And remember how were-rats were unrunnable in the last place? Yeah, the combo here is actually just runnable. So even though each of them individually was or is unrunnable, the combo for some reason is just fine. No big deal. Okay, so this is the last of the floors, and also the worst. This floor, there's all of these soldiers that are in your way, and they kind of just block your path. You can fight them, and you think of, hey, you know, if I fight them, maybe they'd go out of my way, and I can actually just get to the end fast. Problem is, even if I kill them, which I'm very well capable of doing at this point, they'd still not get out of my way. They'd still just keep standing there. So, you know, I'm going to have to go all the way around in order to get to the end of this floor. This is one of those weird floors where it's really it's just long for the sake of being long. Because this is not a difficult floor in any way. And since we just had a switch in host, I'm going to quickly inform my host as well, in case she wants to keep track. So, Jess, for every reset that we have over the course of this run, I'll be donating 50 cents. Feel free to keep track along with Indy. I've already had one so far. So, this is the engine room, and we'll just throw the Sunfire in. And, yeah, the entire thing blows up. We get to see the Dark Knight here. M3 apparently recognizes the voice of the Dark Knight, but she thinks it's me, but you know, we don't get to confirm that, and thus we get into the longest cutscene in the game. So let's just sit back and enjoy as we walk out of every single room we passed through, including the rooms that are like 5 tiles long. This takes like a minute or something. It's kind of stupid. I don't know why they decided that this cutscene would be a smart idea, but apparently they did. Anyway, the thing blows up. This part is skippable. It isn't in GBA, which makes the cutscene even longer in GBA. Dreadnought blows up, and off we go. So yeah, that's the end of that. We've got the Dreadnought out of the way. I mean, the Emperor is still in charge of it all, but at least we got that part taken care of. And with that being done, we're gonna go talk to the King again and trigger a bit of a cutscene here. Because the King actually has a very important task for us. He's currently on his dying bed, and he won't make it very long. So he has one final request for us. For Gordon, he asks to take charge of the army. He asks Minwu to break the seal of the ultimate spell, Ultima, which is kind of a fool's quest because that spell is completely useless. And he asks us to search out the Dragoons, see what remains of them, and come to their aid. And with that, the King passes away. So that is yet another party member, or yet another character, not a party member, yet another character that passes away. And well, Prince Gordon is now in charge, so we're gonna go talk to him, and we learn about the Dragoons and about the Wyverns. That's probably the most forgotten password in the entire game. I don't know how many times I've forgotten about that one. So let's quickly save, and let's start making some progress. Because in order to get to the Dragoons, we first need to find ourselves a ship. We need to find some ship that actually still goes towards Deist. And that is not a place that gets visited a lot nowadays. Also, the ferry is kind of gone, but we do meet up with Lila. She's a pirate. Where is no, Mitch isn't here anymore, is he? Unfortunately, our real life pirate Mitch is not here anymore. So you know, this one's for Mitch. So yeah, Lila, she's gonna join, she's gonna give us a ride towards Deist. But as we're on the open seas, well, this happens. I mean, we had like 100,000 gil on us, right? So these pirates decide to attack us. I mean, they are pirates after all, right? So let's throw fire. Because fire is great. Shoutouts to the campfire. Hashtag campfire. It's, that was pretty good. But yeah, that was the pirates. That's all there is to it. We just killed them with fire. Or rather, we defeat them with fire. And at some point, Lila's like, okay, I give up. And she joins our party. And now she's our new trusted party member. Because apparently that's how it goes. You kill everyone with fire and they join your party. But it's actually rather nice that she joins us. She serves as a great meat shield. And that is basically what she is. I'm sorry to say, but that is basically what she is, a meat shield. You'll see very soon why. So, well, off to Deist, but not before we're going to make one quick stop along the way. We are supposed to go to Deist right now, and we can, and we will very soon. But before we do, I'm actually going to make a quick stop on a very small little island, and that's for a quest that I'm going to have to do much later on. But I can already finish it up now, and with the way that we set it up, I don't really have to worry about dying or anything. So I might as well finish it up here. So onto the tropical island. This is a pretty fun dungeon, actually. Mostly in that this is a dungeon where every single enemy is runnable. They tend to hit pretty hard if they ambush you, but everything can be run away from. So it's actually one of the more easygoing dungeons in this place. So yeah, this is why Lila is a literal meat shield for me right now. The other ones can't actually get hit, but Lila can. She's the only one, and I'm gonna just let her die off here. So these ambushes are kind of annoying. This is why it'd be preferable if Lila would have just died off just now. Because as soon as Lila dies, ambushes become a lot less time-consuming. But until that time, we're just gonna keep on walking. Can you just hit her? Get this over with. Or all miss. That works too. She'll die of the poison. So yeah, same strat as before. I'm going to move everybody else to the back row, and that means that every first turn on an ambush, all of the physical attacks will get cancelled out. For example, with this one, where, you know, we don't have to worry about it. Just move them back to the back row, and that's basically how we're going to push our way through this dungeon. This is also why, you know, this is kind of a relaxing dungeon to go for. It's not really a lot we have to worry about. So ambushed by some jellies and moose, but no big deal. There is still a boss at this place that, you know, we'll kind of have to defeat in a bit, but that's all that was pretty much all there was to this entire place. And this boss we actually have a really cool strat for as well. I'm gonna quickly save because this boss can actually kill me. It's pretty unlikely, but it can. Okay, I'm just gonna put teleport in the first spot. So this is the boss fight. And, you know, that's half of the boss fight done. Because they can just get teleported away. No big deal. Don't ask me why teleport works, but that was the entire boss fight. And that gets me the black mask. We need to collect 2 masks over the course of the run. A black mask and a white mask. The white mask we can't get to yet because we first need to take the castle back, which we'll do later on. But the black mask we could already pick up, and it's kind of on the way right now. So since we were in the neighborhood anyway, you know, might as well. So now we'll actually go to Diced, you know. Quick couple-minute detour there, but now that we have it, we're good to go. Everything on the sea is runnable pretty much, so we don't really have to worry about those guys either. So this is the island of Diced. And Diced is kind of a painful place. This is also the first place where that counter of, you know, how much I need to donate is going to start increasing rather rapidly, probably. So stalactites is fine. That's one of the better encounters. I'm gonna first make my way towards the dungeon. This one will have to teleport away because ogre mages. Basically anything with an ogre mage we have to kill. Luckily everything on the world map is killable. However, the cave this is the first place where we're going to find a very specific encounter, or a very specific one of a set of encounters. The encounters that are both unrunnable and unkillable. There is no way I can quickly deal with them, or even deal with them at all. Either because of immunities, or just because of the lack of resources. This cave has yellow souls, which is the first example of that. First, though, we're going to get this pendant. It's a pretty cool pendant. And the pendant allows me to talk to wyverns. It's pretty useful. We're going to make use of that fairly soon to talk to a wyvern. Kind of didn't mean to heal Lila. I just wanted to heal Indy. But, you know, that's all fine. Most of the stuff around here we have to pretty much just teleport away. There's not much we can do about that. And even though it's the ogre mages specifically that are the unrunnable part of this, I have to kill the entire encounter. That's unfortunate. I was hoping I would be able to reach the castle without another encounter. But, never lucky. So again, we'll just have to get rid of these guys. Luckily, our teleports have been hitting pretty alright so far. If I can get the last ogre here, then we can be done with it, and I can move on with my life. There we go. So this is the Castle of Dice. This child tells me to go away. This entire city, or rather this entire island, was attacked by the Empire. And this is the last of the Wyverns. We ask him for help, and we show him the pendant. Or no, we tell him about the Wyverns, and then he gives us the egg. Luckily, that's the first word, so I pretty much just overmashed into it. But yeah, the Wyvern has been poisoned by the Emperor, and he's currently dying, but he was protecting the last Wyvern egg. That means if we can make sure that egg hatches, that the Wyverns may live to fight another day. It's actually faster for me to reset that, so that's another 50 cents to the counter. Because what I'm going to do here is, because I now know that the encounter is coming up really soon, is I'm going to take a few steps here. That'll cause that encounter to show up a lot later now, because I basically skipped that entire thing. Still have to kill this one, but this is actually a fine spot to get an encounter, because at least now I've got one before the dungeon. Granted, that lost me 50 cents to do so, but it's still worth it. And get that last land turtle down as well. And, okay, cool. So into the cavern we go. We now need to make sure that that last Wyvern egg actually has a chance of making it. Where's the eye drops? Let me just do that real quick. So here we go into the worst dungeon of the first half of the run. Big pack of undeads, that's basically always unrunnable, so we just kill it off. They're not the worst, because we can just kill them with fire, it's pretty quick. This one, on the other hand, not so much. Oh, 3 on the first hit, not bad. Of course, it's always that ogre that just doesn't want to go. Okay, here we go. Indy, Jess, I hope you guys are ready on the counter, because chances are we'll start increasing it rather rapidly here. There's one specific encounter that I cannot run from and I cannot kill, so I have to reset if I get it. Really good teleport there. Hilgaigus tend to take a little while to teleport away. So getting it on the first try is it's pretty good. And another one. I'll still take these guys over yellow souls any day. And I'm not just saying that to save my wallet. Okay, this is a rather annoying encounter, especially with how quickly it showed up, but I can just kill it with fire. So yeah, saving a lot, and that is something that will become a fairly common theme very soon. Okay, so far so good. This is usually around the time when you start seeing your first yellow souls. So the longer it takes for me to actually see those, the better. Assuming we can get rid of them. Well, it's one of the two. Okay, this has been pretty good so far. Just on account of not actually having seen any yet. I mean, I guess a little less good for charity, but... There are better encounters to find here than the Hilga, I guess, which is like the Revenants, because those I can actually run from. But I'll take a Hilga, I guess. Okay, so that was the floor that you usually see like half a dozen yellow souls, and I didn't see any. That is like the second time or third time that's ever happened to me. It is that rare. Okay, I don't think I've ever had it that I went through the entire thing without having to reset at all. Maybe like once, but that's a really, really solid dice game. This is actually a very rare occurrence. So this is the Chimera. There can be anywhere between 2 and 4 of these, 2 being the best, 4 being the worst. And we just have to teleport them away. So, yeah, Indy, I'm gonna have to disappoint you. Apparently, we're not getting resets here after all. So, we got lucky. Well, Charity a little less so, but we got lucky. Also on that encounter as well, let's, I'm saving there, by the way, because I have actually gotten a yellow soul after having killed the boss. That's happened to me once. So we drop off the Wyvern Egg here, which is, you know, now that it's in this spring, it has a chance to hatch. And we're going to teleport out of here. That is one of the best diced caves I've ever had. It's not the best, but I'm pretty confident that's one of the best I've ever had. Unfortunately, now these guys will have to ruin my day. Or ruin my day a little bit. Because, you know, I'll have to, you know, kind of have to set it out until we get off the island. The island, this island is like one of the worst parts of the first half of the run. Once you get off this place, it gets a little bit easier for a little while again. There is still some pretty bad stuff, but... Okay, stalactites, that's good. Can I reach my ship from there? I can, perfect. Okay, off Diced Island. Not the, like I said, not my fastest Diced Island ever, but that was actually not that bad. Just on account of everything having either been runnable or killable. And though we had to kill quite a lot, relatively speaking, not having to reset anywhere is just, it's just nice, you know? It's about how you'd like that island to go. So I'll take that any day of the week. So for now, we just have to return to our town once more. And we're going to see if we can find Princess Hilda. Tell her of what happened to the Dragoons. Because, well, the Dragoons, they've pretty much been wiped out by the Emperor. And save for one Wyvern and like 2 other people, everybody's dead. So, not very likely we'll be getting help from them anytime soon. So back in Altair, the princess is supposedly in the bedroom resting up, so let's go say hi. I should probably actually use a Phoenix down here. And, well, Hilda asks Indy to join her alone. So, yeah, Indy, what's going on with this? Everybody else has to go outside. You know. Indy, Indy, do tell what's going on here. So yeah, she lures Indy near the bed, and then it turns out she's the Lamia queen, and she starts attacking us because she wasn't the queen after all, and now we have to fight this boss fight over here. So apparently Indy managed to get seduced by a Lamia queen. So this fight is pretty straightforward. We just throw teleport tomes until it dies. And that can either be the first tome, the second tome, or the 100th tome, and anything in between. Luckily we got a pretty good fight there. Second tome is really solid. So yeah, it turns out that the princess is gone, and his messenger just runs in. I don't know why he runs into the bedroom, but sure. And he tells us that the princess is being offered up as a prize by the emperor at the Colosseum. So off to the Colosseum we go. Gordon rejoining our party here. He'll serve as our new meat shield. Or as our meat shield once again, I suppose. That's just a general thing here. Like, these guys just... The fourth party member is pretty much always the meat shield. Except for the final boss, when the fourth party member is the one to actually kill the boss. But up until that point, they're pretty much always meat shields. So this part, there is like one unrunnable here. Everything else we can run away from. It's only the Gigantoid encounter that we kind of have to worry about. Everything else is fine. It's kind of weird how that works. I always, like, back in the day, I always thought that Chimeras were unrunnable as well. But the thing is, Chimeras are somehow runnable, even though they were the previous boss we fought. Just goes to show how weird encounters can be. Okay, so quickly just gonna save here. And into the castle we go, or into the Colosseum we go. We meet the Emperor for the first time, but it was a trap all along. And now he captures us here, and we have to fight the Behemoth. If we win, we get Princess Hilda as our reward. So yeah, let's fight this thing. Same concept as with the Lamia Queen. It can either take one teleport tome, or it can take 100, or anything in between. So let's hope for a good fight here. Really good fight. Let's go. First try. That's, we're getting very lucky so far. That is always scary when FF2 starts giving you good RNG. That's pretty uncommon for this game. But yeah, now that we're supposed to get the princess as our reward, it was a trap all along, and we get captured by the Emperor, sent to some prison cell. Lucky for us, we made some friends earlier down the road with Paul, and well, he's gonna save the day here. He kills off this guard and sets us free. So remember how earlier I said that walls don't exist in this game? I'm gonna show you again that walls don't exist in this game. This is a really long floor if you don't know this, but if you do, you can just do this. Parasites, that's fine. So yeah, now that we find Princess Hilda, she's in this prison cell over here, and we decide to rescue her. Interestingly enough, Gordon and Hilda decide to run off on their own, even though it really seems like it'd be the smarter idea to travel with a group of 5 rather than as 2 separate groups. But either way, I'm going to quickly put them in the back row. We're going to save again because there are some dangerous encounters here. A reset here is a little less common, but it can happen because specters are a thing. I'm always a bit scared of specters, but we get out of this place no problem as well. This is, like I said, it's rather scary that the game is giving me this good RNG, because this is really rare. In, like, the best sense of the word, but... So now we're going to go back one more time in the general direction of Altair. We're not actually going to get into Altair, because we're going to go finally do something we've kind of been meaning to do for about an hour and a half now. And that's that we're going to start retaking the Castle Finn. We're going to lay siege on the castle and actually take it back from the Empire. This is the first time in the entire story, because at this point, like, you've kind of just been one step behind the Emperor. Like, every town is either under Emperor control or the Emperor has attacked it. We defeated the Dreadnought, but at the end of the day, we just, like, got rid of a weapon that they had, and we didn't really weaken their grip on the world. We're going to change that right now, in that we're going to lay siege on one of the castles they have taken control over, and we're going to start taking it back.
Do we in the meantime have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got a €25 donation by Nene Orner, saying charity not messing out now, Kappa.
Ooh, so this is that dangerous encounter that I mentioned. So yeah, let's kill it with fire. So I guess Niena making up for the money we lose on me getting good RNG here. Shoutouts to Niena for that one. She prefers people getting bad RNG. Okay. That's true, it is way funnier. Don't worry, the worst part has yet to start. The first half of this run is generally rather tame. It's the second half of this run where it gets bad. You'll see very soon why. So this is Castle Finn, and like I said, we're just gonna retake it. I think that's fine. Or not? Oh, it's actually not. Okay, we'll have to teleport this. There is only a few encounters in this place that are actually runnable. I thought this was one of them, but apparently I was wrong. So on to the next boss of the run. This is Gatos, and he's been in charge of this place for some reason. Why you let somebody like that take charge of a castle, I'm not sure. But apparently he was the guy in charge of this guy. Wow, we one-shot this guy? Okay. 4 teleport tomes for 3 bosses. That is not something you see every day. So we're going to learn a few things here. We're going to learn about Mysidia, we're going to learn about the masks, and we're going to learn about the secret word, Akmet Tolos, which opens up a passage here. Now this next dungeon is actually rather cool. I always kind of like this place. So the way that the encounters work in this dungeon like in the basement of Castle Finn, is actually pretty straightforward. Everything on floor 1 is unrunnable, and we always kill it with fire. Everything on floor 2, 3, and 4, except for the green, green whatever it is on floor 4, is always runnable. The green, I don't know what they're called. Green something. Then everything on floor 5 is unrunnable again, and we have to kill it with teleport. So pretty much everything is... okay, only one encounter. Good. So everything from this point on for the next 3 floors is killable. Or, sorry, is runnable. So here we don't really have to worry about encounters anymore. That's just, it's kind of relaxing to just go through a dungeon where you don't have to worry about that anymore. And because of the way we've got it set up, like, ambushes don't really lose time anymore either. So I'm gonna save here, because green souls are a thing. Green souls, that's what it was. The funny thing with green souls is, the only thing they do is heal me. Like, they don't actually damage you. They just heal you. But I can't damage it. So it can't damage me, so it can't actually kill me. And I can't damage it, making it literally impossible for me to fight those things. So normally I'd force an encounter right about here in order to help me not get an encounter, or get hopefully one encounter fewer on this floor. But we didn't need to, so on to B5. And these are the stalagmites. They were runnable on the previous floor, but they're not runnable on this floor, so we actually have to teleport them away. They can come in pretty big packs as well, so they can be kind of a pain to deal with. Let's see how lucky we get with the teleports here. Like we're gonna have to kill them anyway. Like that part isn't anything weird. It's just that we need to get somewhat lucky on getting them away quickly. It's really the only thing we're hoping for here. Gonna get this chest over here. This is the white mask. So now that we have both masks, we can actually go to Mysidia, the town of the mages. And from there on out, we can start working on getting the ultimate magic tome, Ultima, which we're never actually going to use. We spend approximately half an hour to an hour on getting the spell, and we don't ever use it. It's a high-quality spell, of course. Okay, there we go. And out of the castle we go. So luckily, no green souls. Green souls are fairly rare. You don't usually see them in a run, so this was a pretty normal dungeon. But all in all, still pretty good. At least we didn't get bad RNG there. We got just like average RNG, which for that dungeon is pretty good. So here I'm going to save, because the path to Mysidia can be rather annoying as well. There is like 8 different unrunnable things here. Bombs being the first one. Bombs and mines are a great example of something we have to kill with teleport. Now, first things first, we're going to buy a few more teleport tomes. Quickly just stock up on that, because we've been losing out a little bit. I'm also going to get a few blink tomes. That's for the final boss fight. Gonna quickly buy a couple shields. We don't technically need these. Like, mithril shields work just fine. But I just prefer also having the ice shields to help me run away a little bit better. It's not really required or anything, but it can be helpful at times. And over here, there's no actual encounters in this thing. We just have to place the white mask. Where is my white mask? There it is. Okay, that took me way too long to find. So that's done. So let's get out of here and make our way into Mysidia Cave. Now, Mysidia Cave is probably one of my least favorite dungeons in the game. It has yellow souls and red souls, which are both encounters I'll have to reset over. It's got cockatrices, which have a chance of just flat out killing me, in which case I'd have to reset over it. And there's just a lot of unrunnable stuff, which is just really slow in general. So, maybe we'll actually get to ramp up those that €1 that I have to donate right now, because €1 is not a lot, especially this late into the game. I was expecting to probably at least be like at like €5 already. Granted, most of the unrunnable stuff is like the final like 4 dungeons or something. That's when the really bad stuff happens, but I was expecting to be on a slightly bigger number than €1 so far. Okay, this is a bit of a bad ambush. I just defend it with Ras. Ras, why are you defending? It's not what you're supposed to be doing. It might actually work out if this teleport hits. Which it did, so it's fine. Indy and M3 have got you covered. Now I am. Okay, let's go through Mysidia Cave. This is like I just don't like this place. That one's fine. The first floor doesn't tend to be too bad. It's mostly in the later floors that things tend to get ugly. So this is the doppelganger. This is what we needed the mask for, because now that I place the white... Like, I have the white mask on the statue and the black mask on the doppelganger, and that'll make it vanish. Okay, Malboro and Parasite, that's good. Like, in general, this stuff is... Like, the first 2 floors specifically don't tend to be that bad. Souls start getting really common starting the next one. That's a rather nasty encounter. We can kill them, it's not a big deal, but... They will take a while before they let me go. We can kill them with fire, though. The Spectres could have caused a problem, but they decided to be nice today. Okay, one more of these guys. At least this time it's not an ambush, so it's not as bad. Let's save just to be sure. This is a place where you kind of need to save a lot, because if you actually start running into the enemies that you can't kill and you can't run away from, and you haven't saved in a while, you get set back quite a lot. He's again going for the blizzard. It's not the worst thing, though. I'm surprised they've been generally mild with this stuff so far. Because there's like 3 combos of enemies that I have to reset over. Okay, now the next floor tends to be the worst one. This is B4, and B4 is awful. Okay, good first encounter. Now this is where the difference between a regular run and one with step manip comes in. If I had had step manip, I would have known exactly where I'd be getting the encounters. So instead of just saving after a few steps, I would be able to save just before the encounter every single time, like the tile before. That way, if I would have to reset, I would only get set back 1 step. Whereas now that can be a little bit more. That's probably the biggest thing about the step manip. It saves some movement because of that, because resets are very common in this game. Although so far I haven't really been able to show that off. Okay. I'm still waiting for FF2 to decide to become FF2. Because that was the worst floor in this dungeon, and so far it hasn't really been that bad at all. And this is surprising in a scary way. In a good way, but in a scary way. One of them stayed alive. That's rather unfortunate. These things will kill off party members if they stay alive, so if one of them survives, it's rather annoying. This is what we have Phoenix Downs for, though. Okay, last floor of this dungeon, and then we're done with the Cave of Mysidia. This is where we have to find the Crystal Rod. The Crystal Rod basically gives us access to the Crystal Tower. Or whatever it's called, Mysidia Tower, I guess it is? I'm not really sure. It's like this giant tower we need to climb. It's a pretty cool place. It's a pretty long place as well. It's got like 3 boss fights in it. And like a bunch of really bad enemies, but can't go there until you have the Crystal Rod. So again, no resets in a dungeon where resets actually are pretty common. Like I said, I'm still waiting for FF2 to decide to become FF2. Because so far this has just been a really good run, and a sub 2 sub 2 Crystal Rod is not that bad actually. Okay, time to make our way back to the ship. Let's hope for not too many bad things along the way. Spectres and ghasts. Wait, this... okay. Well, add one to the reset counter. That was about time. That wasn't really worth a clap, but sure. Yeah, they're applauding for me resetting here, but I guess I'm gonna just count deaths in the resets, by the way, because you know that seems fair. So now we're gonna go towards the tower, but on the way we get swallowed by Leviathan, and well, Lila has disappeared. She's gone missing, but Leviathan, yeah, pretty straightforward dungeon. This is where we're gonna do the FF2 variant of a lava boost, which is the acid boost. Because as we're walking through the acid, we can't actually get an encounter. So I'll be walking through acid as much as I can. Not quite as exciting as a lava boost, but it's close enough, right, Indy? Indy agrees. So we meet up with this guy, and we show him the crystal rod, and he tells us, you know, this is, or that's why we got attacked there to begin with, and, well, he decides to join our party. So now Rickard joins our party, and we're gonna see if we can find a way out. And, well, at the end, we get to this boss over here, the roundworm, which we're just going to teleport away. This is generally not that bad a boss fight. So let's see if he cooperates much like the earlier boss fights. And he does. Second try, that's pretty good. He's generally not one of the bad ones. Like, usually you get him within the first round at least. So back on our ship and onto to the tower itself. We use the staff that we have, the crystal rod. Bit of a cutscene here. We can't actually skip this one. And into the tower we go. So this is the longest dungeon of the game, and it's got probably my favorite theme of the, probably my favorite dungeon theme of the game. It's a really early encounter, but werewolves are fine. Unfortunately, our reward for finishing this dungeon is not all that big. Hilgaigus bombs we have to teleport away. Okay, those are the bombs at least. Let's get the Hilgaigus as well. So this place is 10 floors. Each floor having a different theme to it. So the first one is pretty neutral. The second one, well, you can kind of see there's a bit of a dark, fire-ish theme to it. Yeah, we do need to teleport this. There are some encounters that I have to reset over, but most of those start near the end of the dungeon. Like floor 6 and the likes tend to be pretty bad at times. The first few aren't as bad. I'm not sure if it's PB pace. I don't know what my time was at this point in PB, but I wouldn't be okay, that's a reset. It wouldn't be surprising, but I'm not sure how accurate my PB splits in general are. If you've actually got my PB video up, then okay, then it might be PB pace. Also, Indy, just for you, here's a lava boost. Floor 3 is all about lava boosting. Okay, so this is kind of okay that we got this encounter here. Even though he confused my entire party, as long as some of them break out of confusion, we'll be fine. And all of them did. So it's on to the boss fight here. This is the first of 3 bosses in this dungeon. This is the fire Gygus. Basically, there's 3 Gyguses that we need to kill. First fire, then ice, then thunder. And he ambushed me, because bosses can ambush you in this game. Even so far as the final boss that can ambush you. That might actually happen. So yeah, basic strategy here is, again, we'll just see if we can teleport him away. Don't ask me where he goes, but for some reason it works. There we go. That's the boss fight. So yeah, here, walls don't exist. Again. It's kind of a recurring theme with this game that walls just don't exist. There's a few dungeons where we use that. This is like the 3rd one already. Let's get the Gygus itself so that we can actually move on. The Gygus is kind of trolling me here. It's kind of unfortunate. Okay, there he goes. So onto floor 5, and much like we've done, I mean, we've done an acid boost today. We've done a lava boost today. Now we're going to do the 3rd variant of it. We're going to do an ice boost today, which we're going to do by getting on these ice spikes. There's also the wall here. Like I said, walls don't exist. So we just skip a big chunk of this floor. That goes for a lot of floors where you can just skip parts of it. And we get to the 2nd boss in this dungeon, the Ice Gygus. And he too decided to ambush me. That's fun. So now not only are they in the front row, but Maria, or M3, actually just died there as well. Luckily, the first teleport hit, so quick boss fight after all. Still fine. I didn't really mean to revive Ricard, but you can just serve as a meat shield again. Because now we're coming to floor 6, and this is my least favorite floor. Okay, this is a pretty bad encounter, but it's not the worst one. We can still kill it with fire. Okay, Gaze sucks, but since there's only 2, they shouldn't be able to completely kill me. And luckily, I should have some gold needles somewhere. There they are. Okay, good floor 6. Like, seriously, what is this today? This is, kind of unheard of. Just the fact that all of the bad stuff for some reason is staying away from me. So yeah, this is the third boss of the game. This is the Thunder guy, I guess. Or third boss of the tower, I should say. And the first one that decided not to ambush me. That's rather nice. So yeah, while we finish up the tower, I'm gonna ask my lovely host to tell us a little bit about the charity, because we've got some time going now, so we might as well.
Sure thing, Crrool. We are running in support of the Dutch Cancer Society, an amazing charity which aims to prevent and fight cancer and alleviate the suffering of those who are already battling the disease. 90% of your donations will go directly towards the Dutch Cancer Society, so get your donations in.
Thank you, Jess. With that, we've got the boss down. Unfortunately, he did decide to kill Furion along the way, but that's okay. Now on to floor 8. Floor 8 and 9 tend to be pretty alright. They do still have some encounters that'll make you cry. But generally, they're not the worst. Okay, I'm just going to reset that at 50 to the counter. Yeah, no, 50 cents, Indy, not 50 euros. I'm not that rich, okay? My host is not with me either. She wants me to put it to 50 resets instead. I'm still not that rich. Okay, and another one. Revenant Deathflower Chimera is just cry. There's 2 encounters in this place that my notes literally just tell me, you know, cry. That's one of them. Death Bloom is fine. Or Devil's Bloom. Okay, floor 9. This is the last floor with encounters, so it's not too bad a tower so far. Vampire Girl, that's fine. Some imps. Oh, whoops. That was rather silly. I'm supposed to have the second door, not the third one. I don't know why I thought I needed to do the third one. Don't think a reset is worth it here, because it's been too long since I saved for that. The problem if you take the wrong door somewhere is that the encounter rate in these places is ridiculously high. Okay, I'm gonna just throw it at a reset, add one. Still only like 2 encounters or something. Shouldn't be terrible. It's actually less bad than I thought it was. Okay, that was the last floor with encounters. So now that we've made it to the top of the tower, it's time for us to get the ultimate spell, Ultima. Now, Minwoo, he's going to unleash all of his magic to break open the barrier here. Get a bit of a cutscene. He's going to use all of his powers to break the seal that locks away the spell that is Ultima. The ultimate magic in the game, and also the spell that we're never actually going to use because it's completely useless. Unfortunately, because of the fact that he had to use all of his magic in order to break open the seal, he will not actually survive that attack. But it's all for the greater cause, right? Or at least that's how he feels as he dies for a fool's quest. But, you know, we do get to pick up the spell at least, for what it's worth. So that's Ultima. And off we go. Five minutes ahead? Oh, wow. Okay, I was not aware I would be 5 minutes ahead of PB right now. That's pretty good. Granted, my endgame wasn't all that bad in PB, so... it doesn't mean a thing, but that's pretty hype that, you know, the RNG's been that good that I'm actually 5 minutes ahead of PB. Let's see if we can keep it that way. Just for reference, the next boss in particular is going to be a massive factor in that one. But first we're gonna go into the castle, we're gonna learn about the Cyclone, which is the next dungeon we have to go through. Apparently the Emperor wasn't all that happy with us taking back the castle, so he's whipped up this massive Cyclone, which is actually a tower slash castle slash fortress inside of a cyclone that is now storming towards our castle. And, well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not very good at flying. So, we're gonna use this mirror over here. We're gonna use the pendant. And we actually see that the egg that we left at the lake earlier has since hatched into a wyvern. And we are going to call upon this wyvern to help us once more. We're gonna skip the cutscene where he actually shows up. But here he is, the last living wyvern. He's still just a young wyvern. But Ricard actually being a dragoon, the dragoons and the wyverns are together once more. So, yay, we did a thing. And now we can call upon the wyvern whenever we need him. I'm gonna quickly go out of the castle. I'm gonna save just before I leave the castle. Or just after, whatever. But mostly on account of we need to get an item still. It's a pretty good item here. And then we're gonna actually make our way into the cyclone. So we tell Paul that we're gonna go there, and that gives us access to this place, which we're just gonna completely loot. We might as well just get everything. The main thing we need is the blood sword. The blood sword is an item that always, like, for every hit you deal 1/16 of the HP of the enemy. So it's an incredibly overpowered weapon. It's completely broken. I believe the PSX version, there's actually 2 of them as well. This version, unfortunately, only has 1. And that's another reset. But it's the weapon that's actually going to allow me to defeat the final boss later on. And that's another reset. Now the counter is starting to get somewhere. Yeah, still in single-digit euros, which is probably good for me. Okay, Captain Sergeant is runnable. There we go. So after the Cyclone, we get to see another cutscene here, but again, we're going to skip it. And this is objectively the worst dungeon in the game, except for maybe the final dungeon. This place is just awful, let's just keep it at that. And it's got by far the worst boss fight in the game. Hold on, let me quickly check. Teleport. So this place is 7th floors with the boss on the 7th floor. There are several enemies that I'll have to reset over because there's just no reliable way for me to get rid of them. There is a lot of enemies that I can generally just teleport away. So hopefully, if nothing else, we'll be seeing that rather than the reset encounters. And then there's a handful of things that are runnable. It's not that long a dungeon, but it is a fairly lengthy dungeon. Okay, Devil's Bloom Gatos is not the worst. At least we can teleport it. Ooh, Bacchus's wine. Don't think that'll ever become useful, but still. It's nice to get that drop. Okay, wizards can cause a lot of harm. Like, they can deal a lot of damage. But they seem to be going easy on me. Okay, 1 petrification. That's not the worst. Wizards could have done a lot worse than that. Okay, again with a Devil's Bloom. So far, so good. The main thing I don't want to see are the wood golems. Those are ones that I'm basically just gonna have to instantly reset over if I see them. They're not the most common encounter, but they tend to be fairly common. Of course, the Devil Bloom doesn't actually want to go away. Devil Blooms can be a pain. So far, they've actually been rather kind in that they just got teleported away rather quickly, but this one just doesn't want to cooperate. If I don't get it soon, I'm going to have to reset it because it's taking too many resources. Okay, whatever. Okay, add another one. Okay, so €5 now. That's not that bad, actually. Like I said, I was kind of expecting to be at €5 by the time I finished Diced, so... Lamia Captain, that's actually runnable. It's an annoying encounter, but it's actually runnable. It's also a fairly uncommon encounter. So it's interesting we even got to see it. I'll borrow Terra and Aimaba. So this is the last floor. This is also where we'll find the worst boss fight in the game. This boss fight consists of 3 fights. We basically... or each of the 3 separate fights can ambush me. If that happens, it can be really, really bad. We have to teleport them, and I kind of need Rickard alive going into the 3rd fight. So here we go. Let's see if how things go. My PB gets this 2nd try, I believe. So an ambush on the 1st one. Okay, that's the first reset. So yeah, like I said, this is the boss fight that's just... It's objectively the worst boss in the game. Okay, 2 is good. 2, especially because it's not an ambush, it's really good. Now, the main problem with this fight is you don't get to heal in between the fights. Okay, it's an ambush, which is rather bad, but it's only 2, which makes it a little less bad. So I actually will have enough health going into the last of the 3 fights. The last fight can still very much ambush me, like the Emperor can. Like, in my PB, this was actually a really weird fight, because the first time I did it, I didn't get ambushed by either of the first 2. Then got in the 3rd one, got ambushed, which is fine. Then got 4 teleports, and I missed every single one of them. It was just awful. Okay, on to the 3rd fight. This is the determining fight. Phoenix. Not an ambush. That's really good. I need to get rid of the Royal Guards and the Emperor by the end of this turn, ideally. The Wood Golem cannot actually be teleported away. Okay, that's one. That's good. Okay, that's gonna hurt, but it's still fine. This is my last turn, though. I need to kill them this turn. Okay, that's good. Now I have a shot. Let's get the Emperor away as well. Come on, Maria. Or M3. I'm blaming M3 for that one. Okay, so I have to Phoenix down now, otherwise I cannot actually win the fight. So I'm gonna teleport with M3, and we're gonna Phoenix down on Indy. I have to get rid of that Emperor because before it does something bad, because it can do some pretty bad stuff. Okay, I got him. We win the fight. Second try. That's really solid. That's, in this case, because the reset was faster than in my PB, that's actually faster than in my PB. So I should be saving time on this Cyclone here. So I'm going to Phoenix down both M3 and Ricard, get them back up on their feet. I have to just deal with this guy the regular way. But the way we do that is we're going to Phoenix down whoever dies. I'm going to Fire Tome with everybody that's alive, and I'm going to attack with Ricard. So this will take a few turns to go down, but at least we're getting there. Phoenix down there, Fire Tome, attack with Ricard. Main thing is just that I need to keep my party alive. As long as everybody's still alive, we're good. That'll do it. Okay, that was a really solid Emperor 1. So yeah, that's the Emperor done. So, you'd think, we'd be done right now, but we're not quite. But first, some more cutscenes. He shouts out that he won't actually die. And, world is saved, Emperor is dead. So, peace is back in the world. Which means it's cutscene time. 7.5 minutes ahead. Not bad, not bad. That can still easily change, by the way. Final dungeon, like this, I've been at BSGs, and this is not a joke. Last time I ran FF2 at BSG, I was 20 minutes ahead of PB going into the final boss fight. I did not PB that run. That can happen. So I'm not going to call it, not going to call it for what it is until the final boss is dead, because that's, that guy has never screwed me up that badly outside of BSG, but always at BSG. Like, every BSG FF2 run I've done, I've died a lot on the final boss. So, yeah, big long dancing scene because it's all peaceful, and then this messenger runs in, shouting that the Dark Knight Crrool has named himself the new Emperor. So I guess I'm the Emperor of the world now? Can we call time on that? It seems like a solid place to do so. At least for me. Maybe not so much for the rest of the world, but... Okay, I have to equip the unequip the blood sword. That's very important, and I have to save. So we tell the princess, let us talk to Crrool, because... who better than his own family? Now I've had one run, that's also why I saved that early on in the castle, where I walked out of the castle, went towards the airship, and then died. Like, right here. It was, so you finally beat the Emperor 1, worst boss in the game, and then you die, but I hadn't saved yet. That lost me a lot of time back then. So I always take an extra safety save there. We meet up with Sid. It actually turned out that, you know, he got attacked, and he is now also on his dying bed. And he, as his last will, he gives us his airship. So we say goodbye to Sid as well. So I don't know where the Sid and all the other Final Fantasies come from, but he actually dies here in Final Fantasy II. I believe it's the only Final Fantasy where Sid actually dies. FF12 as well? Okay. I've never played FF12, so that doesn't surprise me. Okay, so onto the ship. Let's go grab ourselves that airship, and with that we're going to be able to go to Palmacia Castle, which is our next major stop. Now, Palmacia Castle is another pretty big dungeon, but the good thing is there's no boss fight, because reasons, you'll see. The other thing is, most of the stuff in that dungeon is actually runnable. There's only a handful of things that aren't. Granted, there are a handful of things that aren't runnable, but most of the stuff is fine. So into the airship we go, and now we finally have ourselves an airship. First time in the run we actually got it. With that, we're gonna head towards Palmacia Castle, which is right here in the mountains. Landing in it is always rather finicky. So we fall into a trapdoor here. We started on the last floor, but we fall into a trapdoor, and well, we get all the way down to the first floor, and now we have to climb our way to the top. Like I said, lucky for us, most of the stuff is runnable, so all in all, we don't have to worry too much about encounters. So interestingly enough about this specific encounter, skulls are actually not runnable. However, combined with the Devil's Bloom, we can run from them, even though the Devil's Bloom was not runnable in the last dungeon. So just another one of those examples of, you know, FF2 encounters. Gatos, unrunnable earlier, but here it's fine. And thus we make it to the second floor. Wood Golem Black Knight, unrunnable earlier, not a big deal here at all. Fortunately, Ricard died, but that's fine. Some ambushing here and there, but now that Ricard is dead, ambushes don't really lose a lot of time either. So that's the second floor done. So far, it's been a good castle. Like, most of the unrunnable stuff starts showing up now, though. Like, floor 4 onward is when you gotta start watching out. Okay, floor 5. This is one of the longer floors we have to do. 5 and 6 are both pretty long. Devil Bloom Skull. That's good. Just gonna save between every encounter at this point. Just don't want to run into something stupid. Okay, good floor 5. Okay, this is a pretty bad ambush, but we should survive, no problem. Maria might, or M3 might die, but other than that, we should be fine. Okay, and maybe Indy? I don't know if he can tank this. I hope he can. Ooh, the 1 health. Indy pulling through like a champ right there. Okay, 7th floor. We'll meet the Dark Knight Crrool on the 8th floor, so we're almost there. We're really getting close to the end of this dungeon, and with that, pretty close to the end of the game, because like after this, there's only 2 dungeons left. Granted, they're both fairly lengthy. Death Flower, I'm just going to reset over. So add 1 to the counter. Especially since I was 1 tile before the encounter anyway. Figured it'd be faster to reset than to try and kill Death Flowers, because those things tend to be rather slow to kill. So now one very important thing is I have to check that I removed his equipment. I'm actually going to remove everything, I think. If he would still have the Blood Sword right now, as I go into the next cutscene, the run would be dead. It'd be impossible for me to complete it. Okay, so this is a general. I do have to actually kill this thing or reset again, but it is killable, and there's just 1, so it's generally pretty doable. I should be able to make that. Here we go. So we meet the Dark Knight Crrool, and, you know, he's taken control. And, well, he starts fighting us for some reason. But then as he steps off, the actual Emperor rises from the dead, from hell itself, to take over the world once more. He changes Palmacia Castle into the Pandemonium, literal hell. He also tries to kill us here. Ricard, however, decides to step in, and he is going to block the Emperor right here, giving us a chance to escape on the Wyvern. That is how we actually managed to survive, but unfortunately that does mean that Ricard dies right there. He actually does actually get confirmed in Soul of Rebirth that he does die. Not that I'd see any way of surviving, you know, an attack from the devil himself and the thing changing into literal hell, but, you know. So yeah, the Dark Knight Crrool, he joins our party, and he is gonna take his revenge or something, I guess. But at least he's gonna join us. He accepted his faith, and you know, time for us to bring peace back to the world. So I'm actually gonna equip him the blood sword, and we're gonna remove the other weapon. That's got a very important reason, actually. The blood, or Ricard first and foremost, or Crrool, or Leon/Crrool. There we go. Is actually one of the few left-handed characters, and because of that, we equip the blood sword in the left hand, and because it's the only weapon he has equipped, he can deal a lot more, or he'll have a much easier time actually dealing damage later on. So this is the Jade Passage, the passage to Hell. And this is also kind of, like, this dungeon tends to rather be the calm before the storm, as I like to call it. There's 2 unrunnables here, but we can kill them with teleport. That are the white dragon, which we unfortunately encountered right away, and the green dragon. Yeah, it's a green dragon in this one. And then pretty much everything else is fine. We can run away from it. There is one encounter that has a decent chance of killing me, especially if it's a big pack, but other than that, the Jade Passage is kind of an easy-going place, actually. Okay, white dragons, please. Also, I gotta say, like, FF1 had white dragons in the final dungeon as well. They look way cooler in FF2. Can we just agree on that? Like, that looks like a proper white dragon. So yeah, walls don't exist. Once more. It's kind of a recurring theme in this game that walls just don't exist. Okay, that's a really smooth B2. Gotta love it when you just don't get an encounter for an entire floor. So yeah, these are the guys that actually can kill me because Cyclone hurts a lot. And that's one for the reset counter. Luckily, we had just saved. This is why we still kind of save quite a bit over the course of this dungeon. Because especially Abyss worms are just a pain. Okay, a single Abyss worm is fine. As long as it's just one, I'll always be able to survive it, because the Cyclone will not kill Ras. And from full health, Crrool would be fine too, but... Actually, come to think of it, there is an alternate strat I can use here, which I think I might just do. That way we shouldn't ever die to Cyclone either. I'm going to put Ras in the front row rather than Crrool, because he'll survive Cyclones a lot more easily. Ow. So one thing we still have to do right here is we're going to actually go to a hidden shop here. We're going to buy some haste tomes. We'll be needing the haste tomes for the final boss fight. And the more you have, the more easy the fight becomes. So being able to buy 5 is actually quite nice. Because I think last time I ran in a BSG, I only had 3. And that's like enough to beat it. Like 2 or 3. That's like enough to beat him, but it's not quite as much as you'd like to have in general. So this is the longest floor of the Jade Passage. 5th floor is always a bit of a stretch to go through. Luckily, we're getting pretty lucky with the amount of encounters we're getting. We're getting pretty long stretches of nothing. Okay, the Mega Parasite's hurting a little bit here, but... I also kind of forgot, if we're going to do it like this, the golden shield might not be a bad idea. That's just so that he can actually run away from stuff. Because without a shield, that's going to be tricky. Okay, last floor of the Jade Passage, and then it's on to the final dungeon of the game. Now, the final dungeon of the game, the Pandemonium, it's awful. There are so many bad encounters in there. My PB actually had a really good Pandemonium. I kind of meant to save, but this'll do. Okay, here we go. Time for the pandemonium. This is literal hell. So this is the place where we're going to have to actually pretty much save after every single encounter. Mithril golems are probably the most... It's actually interesting we saw that one first, because it's one of the most finicky encounters. It's sometimes runnable, and sometimes it's not, as long as they're alone. That has to do with what encounter pack they're from. If it's a Mithril golem along with... I believe Black Knights or something? I'm not really sure. Then they're unrunnable, but if they're tied with another Mithril Golem, then they are runnable. But if there's only one, you can't really tell which of the two packs it is. It's really weird. So yeah, Lamia Queen, always a pain to deal with. We can teleport it away, and I'm gonna try to, because at least that way we can continue. But this Lamia Queen in particular is not quite cooperating. Can you actually die, please, Lamia Queen? Okay, I'm gonna give it one more round, otherwise I'm probably gonna have to reset the encounter anyway. Okay, there we go. That took way longer than it should, but at least we killed it. The problem here is that my PB actually, at least for the first few floors, had really good floors. It also beat the boss on, I believe, the second try. So, all in all, I had a really good pandemonium in my PB. So this is where I've got a lot of time losses if I get unlucky. Okay, can this one please cooperate slightly more? Okay, at least we got the queen this time. Now to get the actual Lamia itself. Okay, that's good. Got that one out of the way. Hold on, let me check for Death Rider real quick. It's runnable. I wasn't really sure for a second there. That's why I luckily have my encounter notes with me. That's literally what my set of notes has been for like everything but the start of the run. It's just which encounters are runnable and which ones aren't. Because like with every floor being different at times, it's just a pain to have to remember every single one of them. And for the longest time, we actually didn't have a proper list of it. It wasn't until very recently that Nikki Noel and Double Drop, two other Final Fantasy runners, actually got that list together. Now we've got a pretty extensive comprehension of what is runnable, where, and when. We've been getting lucky with the double Mithril Golems, because that's actually a really good pack to get. Actually, hold on. Is this the... I may have made a mistake there. Let me try that before I... Yeah, okay, so it was that pack. Whoops. That's fine. At least we got away from it. At least I didn't reset the encounter. Because resetting a runnable encounter is kind of silly. Okay, another double mithril golem. And again, we can just go through the wall there. You gotta love how like half of these walls in this game just don't even exist. You can just go right through them. I'm considering resetting over this encounter, especially because of how big the pack is. That helps. Okay, maybe not. It'd still be nice if I can actually kill the Lamia Queen so we can move on, but... There we go. So we're still far from done with this place, by the way. We're only on floor 4. We need to get to like floor 10 or something. And now it's gonna get a little wonky because we're gonna get to floor 6 here, which, you know, it might seem as if we're actually making some progress. No, it's... But in reality, we're actually gonna go from floor 6 to like floor 4 to like floor 5 and then floor 7, something like that. Interestingly enough, the Iron Giant is a mini boss fight that you can just run away from. It's weird how encounters like that work, but, you know, we don't care. We'll just run away. And around here to the teleporter, and on to the next one. So this is floor 4 again. Like I said, it's a little wonky with how the floors work. Devil Wolves, that's good. In general, this has been really lucky with how the run's turning out. Like, this is turning out to be a pretty solid time, especially for a non-manipped run. That's one I have to reset over, though. So, you know, it may have taken some time, but here is one for the counter indie. This is a maybe. Okay, it's one I need to reset. That's one of the mithril golems where, because there is just one, you can't really tell whether you can run or not. So it's just a matter of trying, and if you fail, then you know you can't. Or at least it does seem like it at that point. Okay, floor 7. Making some progress now. This is the floor that went the worst in my PB. Single Lamia Queen. We should be able to get rid of that. I was just quickly peeking if I still had enough battery. Don't want to run out of battery just before the final boss, you know? Come on. There we go. That fight took a lot longer than I would have liked to, but... Devil Wolf, that's good. Okay, with the Gygases I always need to check. It's the Thunder Gygas that's not runnable. Because there's like 3 Gygases, and only one of them I can't run away from. I always doubt which one it is. But Ice Geigus is fine. That's a reset. Beast Demon Devil Bloom is like one of the worst ones. You can try to teleport it, but they're pretty hard to teleport. So it's generally faster to reset. I'm assuming you got that one, by the way, Indy. And at this one as well. I could have teleported that, but I tried to run. Okay, and another one. See, this is what I was kind of expecting a lot earlier to happen already. That's why I only said 50 cents per reset. Okay, now that I figure, you know, there's one, I'll kill it instead because I don't trust this. It could have potentially been the runnable one, but I'm not trusting this one a lot at this point. And another one. This is how you lose time in FF2. This is why FF2 is fun, you know? So yeah, imagine that, but then like 10 times as often. That's about how a normal run looks. Iron Giant, that's better. That feel when a mini-boss is better than a regular random encounter, you know? Okay, 8th floor. From here on, it's generally not that bad anymore. Okay, Devil Wolf Ice Lizard, that's good. So if you look up at a map of this floor, it'll actually look as if I'm going in completely the wrong direction, but that's because there's no wall there. And that gets us right to the exit, because the exit is just over there. Okay, I don't care that M3 died there. Okay, floor 9. This is the before last floor of the game, so we're getting pretty close. Fire Gigas, that's runnable, so that's good. So just for the record, time is as the boss flashes dead. The boss fight can go very quickly. It can take forever. Like, time might be within 2 minutes from night. Time might not be for another 20 minutes. That's kind of a thing. So do be ready on it, but it'll be interesting. We'll see. Okay, so no more random encounters at this point. I'm gonna save here just to be sure. I'm gonna put everybody in the front row. This is the first time in a while that we've done that. Put everybody at full health. Blood. We're gonna unequip the golden shield here. Actually, I want the other stuff there. Blood sword. Remove that. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, here we go. Final boss. This could be sub 3. Let's see. And he ambushed me. Nice. Yeah, final boss can ambush you in this game. Don't ask why. I'm gonna just go a little risky, I think. Where are my haste tomes? Seriously though, where are my haste tomes? There's Blink. I'll use Blink, I guess. Where are they? There they are. Okay. That scared me for a bit. Okay, the slow here is fine, because there's a haste coming up, and that negates the slow. Okay, 5. We need 16 in total. Fine. 10. This could still be bad. If I get a high roll here, then we're good. 14. Okay, Starfall will probably kill me. I don't think I can survive a Starfall because I only have one party member. I should have Phoenix down with Maria just now. Yeah. That's a reset. That's the final boss for you. That's sub 3 dead, unfortunately, but I can still PB. It's still, and another ambush. Yeah, let's just... I made a misplay on that first fight, though. Like I said, I should have Phoenix down with Maria, because then the Starfall wouldn't have killed me, and I would have lived. Blink. Haste. Haste and attack. Okay, there's the second haste. Let's see how many we get on the first hit. It's fine. This is not the end of the world. Starfall in general is bad, but it's not done. Crap! Come on! This is, like I said, it always goes bad at a BSG. Whenever I'm on... This is the second time that I'm on PB pace at a BSG, and it's the second time that it's... it might die on the final boss. Okay, blind is fine. Where's the blink? There's blink. Like, we have everyone in the front row just in the hopes that the Emperor doesn't target Crrool. Because of that. That's another reset. I need to get him this fight. If I get him this round, I think I can still... I think it's still PB, but after this round, it's pretty much dead. This spell is fine. Come on. 3 minutes or something. I should survive a flare. Yeah, I was about to say. 6. Flare is good. $10. Good. 15. GG. Ty, get ready. It's next hit. That's PB. Time. That's PB. That actually moves me up a few spots as well on the leaderboard. I'm gonna quickly check where that puts me on the leaderboard. Only Mifunian? Okay, I thought so. Still, that's up 1 spot on the leaderboard at least, because I knew I was pretty close to Mifunian. Like, my last run barely missed the sub-Mifunian. Still, that's pretty hype. Like, I haven't PB'd in this game for a year, and then in the past month, I've now PB'd twice. It's pretty funny. 23, that's not a lot of resets, actually. You know, just for the sake of this being PB, I'll double up on my 50 cents, so we'll make it 23 bucks. Yeah, actually, I should have known it was just Mifunian, because Deln is still ways off. Still, that gets me, that gets the top 2 console times pretty close together, and MU is actually faster than console as well, so... Because the resets are faster on MU. For comparison, you on console, you lose about 2 to 3 seconds every reset. And, like, this was a good run, so 23 resets, you can kind of count out how much that is. That's still at least a good minute. It's not going to make a difference, and I'm not going to say that it is, but, you know, just for reference. But yeah, peace has returned to the world, and, you know, war is finally over. But, you know, for us, things will never actually be the same after what we've been through. We get to briefly... or we briefly get a hint of the other soldiers, basically. Or of the friends that we lost along the way. Minwoo, Guy, Ricard, Joseph, who've all passed away now. Yeah, that's FF2. So hope you guys enjoyed. And next up, we'll have some SpongeBob. That's bound to be a blast. And yeah, we've got a few really solid runs left. I think we still have Super Metroid, Snipper Clips, Undertale, SpongeBob, some Rayman later. So yeah, enjoy the last bit of the marathon. That was it for me for today. Although I might be on the couch later on. Thank you guys for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let's give it up for my boy Shadow and SpongeBob SquarePants.